Hey there, as promised, here is this week's episode. It's still up in the air if I'm going to do one tomorrow as well to make up for the missed week, but we'll see. As I said in my apology, I had a few things going on. I went to a wedding and then my brain has just been mush. And I've been in a bit of a creativity slump as to what to talk about on this week's episode. And no, I'm not out of stories or ideas, but it's more deciding what to talk about and then putting all that into a kick-ass episode. So without further ado, and God, that sounds horrible. This week, I decided to talk about ghosting, and I'm not talking about the spooky Halloween type ghost, though fucking how cool would that be? I have a few of those stories, actually. Anyways, no, I'm talking about the act of a person talking to you for a bit and then completely disappearing for no reason. Now, in this day and age of social media and everyone on their phones, there are so many ways to talk to people. And with dating apps, it just adds another layer of communication. So you would think with all of that, you'd be able to get in touch with someone. While that is the case, there's this unfortunate thing of ghosting. Now, I have been ghosted a bunch, and I've also ghosted other people as well. I am definitely not an innocent person when it comes to that, but I do have a few stories of some ghosting that have stuck with me. And as per usual, I will be bringing stories not only from me, but from other people as well. As I do at the beginning of every episode, also at the end of episodes too. I kind of do it a lot, and I'm sorry. I want to thank everyone who's been listening, everyone who's been sharing, all this other thing. Weirdly enough, I do like to look at how many people have subscribed to different things. So with YouTube, I'm at 19, which is crazy to me. 19 subscribers on YouTube. In the last 28 days, I've had 90 views, so that's pretty cool. This has been going on I'm on episode 7, folks. This is kind of nice. So it's been going on for 7 weeks, which is crazy. So the total, all the views is like up there. It's pretty cool. I keep track of Spotify too. I keep track of Stitcher. I keep track of everything because I like to know. So, now that I've gotten that fucking out of the way, the first one up is a guy that I typically refer to as tall and stupid. As the nickname states, he was tall but stupid. He was very gorgeous, super fucking hot. I just did not want him to speak. I think I shared this story before, or at least parts of this story. So here's actually the full story of this. So him and I talked almost every single day. We met through Tinder because I meet a lot of people through Tinder. And we talked every day. We had a few things in common and we got to, we hung out a few times as well. He invited me to my first ever Red Sox game, which was fucking awesome. I do have a picture of me going there. He wasn't in the picture. I just got a picture with the pole, which was cool. Granted, this was not going to be a relationship that was going to go past just the physical stuff. While he had an amazing dick and it was huge, I would say it's the biggest I've ever seen. But in more recent history, I have seen one that's slightly bigger. It's kind of terrifying. The dude has a nickname. Pretty sure I've told him his nickname before. So there's that. I can't say it because it includes his actual real name. So just know it's Big Dick and then his first name. But the dude couldn't really use it. I feel like if you have a huge dick, you should be able to use it and not just think that just because it's huge, it will do its job. Anyways, we go to the Red Sox game. Super fun. We kept talking, kept planning to hang out. It was going relatively well. Then I went away for a wedding and I kept talking to him. On my trip back home, I went to send him a snap of something. I was at an airport and it was just something stupid. And I was like, oh, he would like this. So I went to go send him a snap. and it wouldn't go through. So I'm no stranger to this at all. Usually, if a guy gets a girlfriend, they delete me off of Snapchat. It apparently means we can't talk anymore. And instead of, having a conversation like an adult, they just kind of like delete it. If you start seeing with someone, I'm always respectful about it. I'm not going to try to get in the middle of it. I literally just say, hey, I'm starting to see somebody, blah, blah, blah. Cool. That's great. But anyways, so I decided to send him a text message and see what was up because we'd literally just talked the day before. So even like the night before. So this is like the next morning. I eventually get a text from him. I think this was like days later after I sent the text. From him saying that he started seeing someone and we could no longer talk. That was it. No like anything else about that. Cool. So I thought, all right, whatever. It's great, but you probably should have just said something before you kind of like piece the fuck out, like a normal person. So, whatever. About a month later, I was trying to watch Netflix and it's doing the whole, you can't watch on more than one screen. I've since fixed that because my kid likes to watch Netflix too, but sometimes you can only do like a couple screens and then it yells at you. And I was thinking to myself, like, no one else is home and watching it. So what the fuck? I completely forgot that I signed into my Netflix account on his Apple TV during one of the times that we hung out. So not only did he piece the fuck out, he kept my Netflix. And me being me, I texted him and said, hey, you think you could log off my Netflix since I can't watch it? There's no word from him at all. And he kept watching it. So I saw that he was watching Lost. And I've seen Lost. It's a good show. I decided to be a cruel person and think of where the show would be the worst time to no longer be able to watch it. Like, I wanted to pick a really good spot that he would be super into it and super attached and then like rip it away. So I Googled it. I was like, what is like the worst spot of Lost to no longer be able to watch it anymore? Season 2, in case you're curious. So I waited until he was partially through season 2. Since that's when a lot of the character development is, you kind of get some backstories, you start to get really into it. And then I changed my password. So I never said I wasn't down to be a bit childish about stupid shit. I thought this was a great thing to do at the time. I also thought this was going to be the end of it. But it would not be my life if he didn't make a reappearance. So months after this Netflix incident, we randomly matched again on Tinder, which is hysterical. He sends me a message just laughing because, of course, we would match each other. He tells me that the girl he was seeing and him broke up and that things just weren't that great. And apparently she wasn't as fun as I was. But, well, duh. I can be pretty fucking awesome. You can ask a good amount of my ex-boyfriends who I've stayed friends with, and they'll agree. I'm a little crazy, but I am still fun. So I was like, all right, let's hang out. So we meet up. We had sex. And I mean, it was the same as it was before. He had this weird thing, though, about calling me mama. And when I tell you I hate it, I fucking hate. I think it's so fucking weird. I've definitely stated in the past that I'm not a huge fan of calling people daddy either. Just know, same situation. For the love of God, don't call me mama. So whatever. We enjoy our night of relaxing, drinking, and I have this like weird feeling in my face. Thinking, well, he does have a giant dick. And it was in my mouth a bunch. So I was thinking maybe that's it. No. This gets better. The next morning we wake up and I look at the mirror and half my fucking face isn't working. Now, I secretly was kind of panicking, but I also knew exactly what was going on. It was fucking Bell's palsy. For those who don't know what that is, basically, when one of your cranial nerves gets inflamed or whatever, it causes, the muscles and nerves in your face to not work. There's so many different causes of it, but it's mostly just viral. My daughter had it, and it was caused from her having Lyme. They still actually have no idea what caused mine. I had been sick a month before the incident, and they think that it was just a viral infection that caused it. They have literally no clue, so it's great. But anyway, fuck me, right? I seriously could not make this shit up if I tried. So I tried to play it off like whatever. So I start to bring him home because, we drove together to this hotel room. And we talk a bit in the car, and he asks what my plans were for the day. And I casually state, I was so nonchalant about this. I'm like, oh yeah, well, after I drop you off, I'm going to go to the hospital in the emergency room because half my face isn't working. And he kind of slightly freaked out a little bit because, I mentioned nothing until I was almost dropping him off. And he made sure I was okay to drive. For the record, I did get a ride to the ER and all that jazz, so I didn't suffer alone. We talked quite a bit more after this, and we would make plans to meet up again. We talked all through the Patriots games because we're huge sports people. I fucking love the Patriots. And anyone who doesn't, you can suck my dick. Don't care. I'm born and raised New England. Of course, I love New England sports. I don't care if no one else likes them. We talked about hanging out after one really bad loss that they had. So I was like, awesome, sounds great. All of a sudden, there was just fucking dead silence on his end. He stopped returning my text messages, and I never heard from him again. No explanation as to where he went or anything. The last time he was like, oh yeah, I'm seeing someone. This time, literally nothing. There was absolutely nothing. No words. It still kind of irritates me a little bit. I like to know why you're disappearing. Like if if you're going to go and date someone, awesome. At least just kind of have the decency to tell someone. So it's been a while since I've heard from him, probably a good year and a half or so, since I've actually talked to him. He's never logged back into my Netflix stuff, so I don't have to worry about that. But he straight up went fucking ghost. So that was great. This story is a little bit more recent than my last story, still around kind of the same time. This one though, the way that this one ghosted was a little different, and it still irritates me. So I met him through Hinge, which honestly isn't too bad of a dating app if I say so myself. Back when I was first on it, the amount of people on it was a lot smaller than it is now, and I definitely saw a lot of the same people cycle through. And I mean, I've seen a lot of the same people on every dating site. I'm on a few of them. It's just a thing. But whatever. So we hit it off pretty well. The downside was that he did live relatively far away, but he worked in the same town that I worked in, so it would be fine. And I don't live far from that place, so I could, when he'd get out of work, I could meet him up that way. So we meet up, had lunch. It went really great, actually. It was kind of like a dinner. My best friends liked me to text them different things while I'm on dates with these people so that they know I'm not getting murdered. At the time, I think my code word was literally an emoji of a unicorn. So do that. If you're going on a date with someone you've never met, make sure your friends know where you are and have a code word if shit's going great or if you're going to die. But yeah, so, I could tell though that he came from money, especially when he, told me how often he goes to Cape Cod. He goes to the Cape once a week in the summer, every weekend. I can't afford that shit. Besides the point. So after the date, he kissed me and it was amazing. It was a really good kiss. He got right in there. And then I did a super dirty thing and I blew him in my car. because, I really try not to do that kind of stuff on a first date because it's a little slutty, but at the time, I didn't really care. And it was just kind of like impulsive, and it just happened. We all know I can get a little bit impulsive. Case in point is amazing Tinder date from episode 1. So we made plans to go out another time, which we do. I ended up actually going to the gym a lot more. I was in pretty decent shape at the time. I was in a really good spot mentally. I did more activities outside. I found out I love paddleboarding, which is awesome. We hung out quite a few more times. It was actually going pretty fucking well. We would talk almost every single day, and it was fucking awesome. And then one day I got a text asking what I had planned for the week. And I, responded back, oh yeah, I just have work, but I have a couple days off this week. What are you up to? And then nothing. I never heard from him ever again. Like, he completely disappeared from the face of the planet. Who asks someone what their plans are for the week and then just ghosts? Poof. I was so fucking confused. I tried to text him a few more times after that, and I never heard from him, so I gave up. The part that kills me the most, though, is him asking me what my plans were and then nothing. So yeah. So those are my few stories. I can't speak. My few stories about ghosting. Like I said, I have done this as well. When I haven't wanted to let a guy down, so maybe it's kind of a bit of karma, but at the same time, it is a shitty thing to do, and I do my best now to tell people when I'm not interested. I've definitely found I've had a lot of one-sided conversations when talking to people on dating sites. The conversation usually starts out great, and then they just kind of like randomly stop responding. But I've really learned to let that go. I just think once you take it off from a dating app, you should at least give a reason as to why you're going to stop talking to somebody. But enough about me. Since I put this together so incredibly last minute and late, I don't have as many stories from other people as I normally would have had I done this correctly and on time and not been a procrastinator. So I just have 2 stories. One of them's relatively short. One of them's a little bit longer, but they're still like, and this is actually from the man's side of perspective versus the female. So him being ghosted instead of the girl being ghosted. I love hearing both sides because I like to know that it's not just one gender or whatever being the victim of stupid ghosting. I saw this like picture on Facebook probably last week or so, and it's like this, like, it's just this thing, and I'll have to see if I can find it and post it along with things. And it's just this thing. It says, him, how's it going? Him, and she's like, oh, so good. And then, how are you doing? And then it just shows like a picture of like the dots from when you're texting on iPhone, and slowly the dots turn into a ghost. I thought it was funny. You guys are gonna think it's stupid. But anyways, so here's the 2 stories. And as I've been doing the last few times I've been telling stories, I've been telling it in their words instead of me trying to be like, and he went out with this person, or she went out with this person, and blah, blah, blah. I am going to read it literally word for word that people send it to me. I decided to start doing that now instead. So here we go. So first one is, well, I recently went out with a girl, again, like the kind of girl where if I could go to a girl store to pick out my ideal girl, there she was. We met online. Boom. Perfect date time. We went out, and it was like, I fucking nailed it. I was so into her. I legit audibly let out a woo after it was over. Like 2 or 3 weeks ago, she texts me and says she's just too busy and won't have time. So I told her I'd wait. I did, but she hasn't sent a text back since. In a way, she did at least say that she was too busy, so I kind of get it. So it is ghosting, but she did also kind of say she wasn't going to. So, second story. Uh, he started off with ghost stories. I can't remember a time where I wasn't ghosted by a girl I liked. It's why I always settle. The one that stings the most was a girl. Let's name her Jessica. So, Jessica came into my life when I needed her most. We met online and talked daily for about a month. Finally, I said that I just had to meet her, so we set a date. She promptly missed it, but apologized to me, so we set a second one. Same deal. I was gonna give up, but she said something along the lines of, "This Sunday, and I swear to you I'll be there." We planned a whole day together. She missed it. But she called me up around 4 p.m. and said she could still make it by 6. I told her to make it happen, but she had to pick me up. I wasn't wasting any more resources. She actually showed up. She was just as beautiful as I thought she was in photos, and I couldn't believe it. We had nowhere to go since everything was closed, so we went to Wendy's and ate in a Stop and Shop parking lot. We talked until around midnight when she took me home, and I invited her in. To my surprise, she agreed. We spent the whole night talking, we slept together, and it was just amazing. Next morning, I took her to breakfast and I went to work. I remembered asking her to not make this a one-time thing. She agreed, but then I didn't really hear from her again. She'd reach out here or there, even to this day. But as of last week, she just got married. Her dress looks just as I imagined it, but her eyes were definitely happy, so I was happy for her. Still, it's always nice having that fantasy life as a fallback. Small house in Maine where she spent her days taking nature photos, and I spent mine running a small local shop. I have a million ghost stories, but that's the one that truly made me want to move to the graveyard just to be closer to her. So, it's a beautiful story, actually. That's sweet. If someone cancels a date on me multiple times in a row and I've never met them in person, my only real thought is that they are not who they say they are, and they don't look like the person that they have on their profile. Thankfully, I have yet, knock on wood, to experience this because I like to super delve deep into finding these people on social media to make sure that they are who they say they are. And it's creepy. I completely get it. But at the same time, I like to protect myself and make sure that I'm not wasting my time, and that it's just make sure they're the person they say they are. So that is my ghosting for this week. If I had taken the time and wrote all week, I honestly could have put together a better one, but hey, can't always be fantastic. And honestly, I definitely have my creative blocks occasionally, and I'll be real with you. Like, I spent all day today listening to the new Taylor Swift CD, and y'all can judge me, don't care. And it actually took me out of my fucking block, which was great. But I literally was sitting there with my laptop in front of me, and I had no fucking clue what I was doing, and like blocked to hell. And yeah, so anyways, yeah, I actually now have to think of, I have an update to a story. The dude who I talked about in my episode of the dark and crazy side of dating has made a reappearance in my life. And I've shut it down now, but he again didn't remember who I was. And I decided to be an asshole about it. And the opening line he used is an opening line that he used on me. He's used it on a couple other girls. It's so annoying. And his screen name has changed. So it's not even the same screen name, but I looked at the pictures and it's literally the same dude. So I actually called him out on it. He's like, I don't remember. I'm sorry for being a dick and this. I'm like, you got mad when I blocked you. You threatened me. And then, like, he would message me. He asked if he could make it up to me. 10 minutes later, he sent a sad face. About a little under an hour later, he said, well, that's a shame. Then an hour later, he said, are you going to hold that against me forever? And then 20 minutes later, he's like, whatever. Then nice catching up. So I will, share what I said back. And just because I was like, typically when someone doesn't respond, it doesn't mean keep on going and sending messages. This is exactly part of the problem. This is, and absolutely why I'll hold it against you. You got very aggressive and scary when I rejected you the first time. And I'm not the only girl who thinks that. I know another girl who had a similar experience with you. Your screen name may have changed, but you haven't. Maybe look at yourself. Maybe a little harsh on my side, but. And then he's like, what girl? I'm curious. And I said, I'm not going to give you her name. It was also a years ago experience. She shared with me her dating experiences because I host a weekly podcast on the crazy world of online dating. And while I don't use names, I use experiences. And one of hers was very similar to mine, so I asked her privately. He goes, fair enough. I'm sure you're normal. First of all, fuck off. I said I'm actually quite normal. I'm not a bully to people who aren't interested, and I don't continuously message people who are clearly not interested. And I really and truly wish that it had ended there, but it didn't. He kept going, and I understand that I can be a bit much and kind of a dick. But I was done. I couldn't. And anyways, he goes, how long ago did we talk? When did this all happen? LOL. It's like, this was about 3 years ago. And then again, I said it last year. And again, I'm saying it now. He's like, yeah, I don't remember you. It's like, fine with me. You left a lasting impression. And that's why I told you to start with no. I told him no to begin with. He goes, all good. Can I just make it up? I feel awful. I'm like, I'm really all good, but thanks. He goes, I know I will and can. Where are you from? And then, wow, LOL. I'm like, why are you saying wow? He goes, why are you? Dude, what a childish fucking reply. I don't even care that you guys are going to listen to me read off these messages because it's great. It's my podcast. I can do whatever the fuck I want. So I responded with, because I'm a person and I'm me. I don't know what question you're asking here. I'm just me. That's probably the most ridiculous and childish answer to me asking why you're saying wow. No wonder you're still single. You're kind of a super asshole and full of yourself, thinking your words could change you, threatening to post my nude pictures to the world. Now, I don't care. My nude body is awesome, but back then that was a dick move, and that's why I can't forgive it. You threatened me and managed to message me after I blocked you. You got aggressive with me for not responding, and even now you can't take no for an answer. I'm not interested in what you have to offer. You're definitely a dick, and when I don't respond to a message, you keep messaging. Get a hint and maybe learn some social cues. So then he responds with, but you joined a social media site to garner attention. Dude, if we're so far on the ends of the spectrum and, he said, dude, if we are so far on the other ends of the spectrum and you're so great, why are you here? Listen, I did not say that I was fantastic, but whatever. So I said, I joined a social media site because I can. I have a podcast because I can. It's not to garner attention. Honestly, originally my podcast was strictly for my friends and where I could share dating stories from my years of online dating. My other social media is for family to keep up to date on my daughter, since I have a lot of family that is spread around. Not that I need to justify anything to you, but since apparently you just want to keep on going and messaging me, even though I've said I'm not interested, but here we are. I'm here because I was in an abusive relationship for 3 years, followed by strings of just friends with benefits, and then a relationship in which the guy was normal at first, and then when he drank, became verbally abusive, so we broke up. Since then, I haven't wanted to date, so I haven't. I've stuck with my friends with benefits that I have and gone about my merry way. I'm a busy single mom, and I work a lot. When I'm not working, I have my daughter. I've been here just dipping my toes into dating to see what's out there and to see if it's even worth attempting to date. We all have our flaws, and I'm not perfect, but at least I don't attempt to belittle a woman who has said that she isn't interested and then continue to insult her. He responds back with, I'm not insulting you. You simply act all high and mighty and are full of excuses. Have a good day. Listen, I'm not creating excuses. I'm literally telling this person what he did. And it didn't stop. And he's like, but you're on here and have kids and your own baggage. And I was like, I have one kid and I know where I am, but I accept my baggage. He goes, I bet you do, dear. It's a shame. You seem fun. I'm assuming if I said I'd post you online, you sent me naked pictures. I did say that. I said that he threatened. It's whatever. All I know is don't be that dude. Do not be that guy. That guy is a piece of shit. I hate people like that, and it irritates me. I know I'm not a perfect person. I know I'm not a great... I have my own issues. I have shit that people don't want. It's fine. I don't care. But if someone rejects me, I'm not going to continuously message them and then continuously bully them into thinking they're the problem instead of accepting that it's my own fault and I did something wrong, or I did something that they don't like, or just they're not interested, which happens. People just aren't interested sometimes, and you have to accept that. I get it. This dude is so annoying. But anyways, off my tangent. So the whole podcast, still on YouTube, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts. It's on Spotify. It's on the Blubrry account, which might not work right this minute. And also still have the email address, which I will make sure is in all the description. It's just thisisAtrainwreck@gmail.com. And also, as of yesterday, there is an Instagram page up now, which is This Is a Trainwreck. I can also put the link in the description for that too. So thank you all for listening to me and letting me go on my tangents and letting me get away with missing a week. I'm not sure if I'm going to post anything tomorrow or not. I have to work and I've got a couple of things going on, but we'll see. We'll see if I'll make it up. If not, I will be back next week, and I am definitely going to try to get my friend to come on the podcast with me and figure that shit out. So again, thanks for bearing with me through this very poorly planned last minute shit fest of a show. Keep sharing, keep subscribing, keep listening, keep giving me your input. And yeah, so I will talk to you later. Enjoy your day, night, whatever time it is where you are. Thank you so much, guys.